Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Shelby Clark. There are 18 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. One of those is in the region that includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. There are 3 cases in the far northwest, 2 in the far northeast, 1 in the north central region, 6 in Saskatoon, 2 in the central east zone, and 1 in each of the Regina and southeast zones. 143 cases are active, with 6 people in hospital. 1 person is in intensive care. The health authority is also reminding people that with Thanksgiving approaching, the maximum people allowed at a gathering is 30 people, as long as there's enough space to maintain a 2-meter distance between them. Non-essential or recreational travel to or from Saskatchewan is discouraged. Sask Party leader Scott Moe made a campaign spot in Lloydminster today. Moe was visiting the campaign office of incumbent Lloydminster MLA Colleen Young. They both touched on the importance of working together with the Alberta government to get projects done in the border city.
And that's the kind of things that we want to build towards, is that partnership and those conversations and the communication in order to improve life for all the citizens here in Lloydminster.
You know, Colleen has been engaged with Mayor Albers many times on not just the health care being offered on both sides of the border, but the education, as well as other services that are being offered are. You know, we need to understand in this particular case there is 2 sides to the border. Those big orange, well, that road right there with those big orange pegs, it actually does mean something when it comes to jurisdiction.
Moe spent his morning in North Battleford announcing a plan to reduce the cost of ambulance calls for seniors and increase the monthly benefit to those with low income. He also discussed the role businesses in Lloydminster can play in the diversification of the Saskatchewan economy.
I think it should be recognized by the federal government and by the people in and around Lloydminster. The initiatives that are happening here, in particular in the thermal investments, but in the energy industry in a whole, and how it is adding to the sustainability of the energy industry, and that innovation is then used in other areas around the world as well. But it's being led by the companies and the people right here in the Lloydminster area.
The candidates running in the Lloydminster riding will participate in a virtual forum on October 15th. A Buffalo Party of Saskatchewan candidate is running for election in the Cut Knife Turtle Ford riding. Richard Nelson has a history in politics and wants to make a difference, as he feels the Sask Party hasn't done enough.
So about 18 months ago, I was serving in federal politics, and we here in Saskatchewan sent an absolutely full slate of Conservative members down to Ottawa, and it hasn't made a difference here in Saskatchewan yet. We've trusted the Sask Party to govern this province for a dozen years or better, and that hasn't changed our fortunes yet either. So like many people, I'm frustrated, and I want to change, and I want to demand a fair deal for Saskatchewan.
Nelson wants to increase the use of Saskatchewan's resources and commerce.
I think the most important plank in our platform is to make Saskatchewan the most economic jurisdiction to invest in and to do business in. When the Sask Party came to power a dozen or so years ago, what made Brad Wall and Alana Cook so successful was that they did exactly that. And when you do that, you bring opportunities and you bring prosperity to the people, and they're happy. They've strayed away from that, and that's where we're at.
The election is on October 26th. Incumbent City Councillor Jonathan Torzen is putting his name for re-election for the upcoming municipal election. Torzen is looking to seek a second term. He wants to continue to make changes going forward and looking to have strong development both in the economy and the community. He believes there is great opportunity for the economy to recover from COVID-19.
We've got a great airport, we've got a great location between Edmonton and Saskatoon, we've got the CP rail lines, the CN rail lines, Highway 36 going straight down to the United States, so there's a lot of opportunity for where we are in the world to make a big economic resurgence.
Torsen believes his experience can be an advantage.
For myself, I've proven that I can be a leader within that room. I can hold people accountable. I make balanced decisions that consider the social and the economic aspects of what we do, and I think that I've proven with my experience that I can get things done in the role as City Councillor.
The all candidates forum for the municipal election will be held virtually on October 19th. Now our Evan Kenny will take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks, Shelby. Taking a first look now at your evening weather. Currently 14 degrees here in Lloydminster. as the day got on, things did warm up, but earlier today it was quite a cold one, just below 6 degrees right around 8 a.m. That was the coldest that Lloydminster did get today. Taking a look now at some temperatures from around the region. 13 degrees in Marwayne, Vermilion, Wainwright, St. Paul, and in Cold Lake. And then 16 down in Provost, 9 in Edmonton, 8 in Lac La Biche, and 12 in Bonnyville as well as in Vegreville. Taking a look now at the Saskatchewan side here. 18 degrees down in Macklin, 17 in North Battleford, 15 in Maidstone, 14 in St. Walbert, 13 in Meadow Lake, Pierceland, and in Green Lake. As we take a look here now, there could be some of this precipitation coming in from the west here. And if we take a look at Saskatchewan, Isle of Cross did get a little bit of precipitation as the rain went on throughout the day. That could continue overnight and even into the weekend. Taking a look overnight now at North Battleford, 2 degrees overnight before 11 degrees tomorrow. Tomorrow will start off sunny before a little bit of cloud does start to move in. Very similar in Cold Lake, as it will be 3 degrees overnight with a high of 10 tomorrow. Now we talk about overnight. Let's take a look at it. Isle of Cross will continue to see some of that rain, as the Lloydminster area will as well. Looking here, everything hovering right around that 2-degree range there, and some chance of rain as well in Mirnam and in Wainwright. Moving along now to your 3-day forecast. 2 degrees is the low for tomorrow before a nice 19 on Saturday. That'll start off super sunny before some clouds start to come in. Saturday night could also see some rain before rain all day on Sunday. The 78% chance of that, and that could continue on into the rest of the week. That's all we have for weather for now. We'll be back after the break with more news.
Welcome back. Recent dry conditions in the area are fast-tracking harvest, allowing some producers to finish before Thanksgiving. Eric Bay has more in this week's Ag Report.
I think there's a lot of smiles on farmers' faces.
Grain producers like Todd Hames have been enjoying the weather over the last 10 days more than the average Canadian on the prairies. High temperatures and windy conditions have allowed crops to dry, letting Hames finish harvest on Tuesday.
Those windy days arrived, and bang, the wheat over a couple days just went dry, and we never looked back. We missed some showers in this area, because there was a number of little showers that went through, but didn't amount to a lot.
It's been a far cry from last year, when many farmers were harvesting well into November after a cooler fall.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of days hitting the 20 mark, and that's a big difference from last year when you're hitting the 10 mark. If we hit 10, we were doing good. And so the grain just does not dry when it gets down to low temperatures during the day.
Yields have been average, with producers seeing quality vary from farm to farm and even from field to field in both provinces.
Big factor was the moisture. There was too much moisture. So any of the low area or any drowned out areas really performed poorly.
There is kind of regional or variations in certain areas due to mainly those environmental conditions. So there were some parts of kind of the northwest and other parts of the northern regions where they did get quite a bit of rain.
According to the latest Saskatchewan crop report, 96% of crops have been combined, well ahead of last year's pace when only 55% of crops were in the bin at this time. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now let's look at your egg prices.
As the AJHL exhibition season kicks off, the Bonnyville Pontiacs will have a familiar core. In this week's Around the AJHL, I chat with Pontiac's bench boss, Rick Swan. The Bonnyville Pontiacs will be returning 15 players from their 2019-20 team. The team will also be returning their head coach and general manager, who signed a new contract this offseason.
Well, it means that we get an opportunity to carry on the tradition and the culture that we have established here in Bonnyville, and for me to be able to continue on with the Pontiacs organization, especially in a COVID year where I think that we get a real opportunity to take a leadership role in society and really develop our young men and for them to establish the importance of what's going on in the world.
The franchise's winningest coach joined the Pontiacs in the 2012-13 season as an assistant coach before taking over as the head coach the very next year. Before coaching hockey full-time, Swan spent 25 years with the Edmonton Police Service.
When I left policing in 2012, I came into coaching full-time, and it's never felt like it's been a job. It's a passion. I love doing what I am doing. I love to be around kids every day and help them exceed potential and see them grow as young men.
And through his years of service, Swan carried 3 tips onto the ice.
Well, relationships, number one. You know, policing's about creating relationships. It's about finding an effective way to get the job done, and it's dealing with people on a daily basis. It's about details. The mistakes that you make in policing are magnified in the work that you do, so that you're able to take that detail to make sure that it's done right, and the intention and purpose with everything that you do, which the policing career forges you and establishes you as a member that goes through the ranks.
Swan has put in time with other teams as well. His long resume includes a World Junior A Championships gold medal, being named co-coach for the Junior Club World Cup this past fall, and just this past summer, Swan was awarded with Hockey Alberta's Order of Merit.
Well, especially unexpected award like that is humbling, more than anything else. It means I've been around a long time, that to be recognized for giving back to the game. But more than anything, it's a humbling experience. You're not in the game for any personal recognition, but if you give back, I had great mentors in Billy Morse and Claire Drake. If you give back, you get just as much.
Swan and the Pontiacs start their 2020 exhibition season this weekend against the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. Well, taking another look now at your evening temperatures. Currently 13 degrees here in Lloydminster, warmed up as the day went on, as we started off around 6 degrees earlier this morning. Looking now at some other temperatures from around the region: 11 in Cold Lake, as well as in Edmonton, 7 in Jasper, Edson, and in Athabasca, 10 down in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, and 8 over in Whitecourt. Taking a look on the Saskatchewan side here now, 20 degrees down in Saskatoon, 17 in North Battleford, 14 in Meadow Lake, 18 in Prince Albert, and 19 over in Melfort. Now, if we take a look at the northern portions of each province: 8 in Grand Prairie, 5 in Slave Lake and in Fort McMurray, 6 in Peace River and in Fort Chipewyan. Moving over here now, 3 degrees over in Flin Flon, 5 degrees in La Ronge, 7 in Buffalo Narrows, as well as up in La Loche. Taking a look at the southern parts of each province now: Medicine Hat, 25 degrees. That was the high for Canada today. They got up just below 26 degrees there. 24 degrees in Lethbridge currently, 12 in Banff, 14 in Calgary, and 13 over in Coronation. Looking in southern Saskatchewan here now: 22 degrees in Estevan, 21 in Regina, 24 in Moose Jaw and in Swift Current, 20 in Kindersley, and 19 over in Yorkton. If we take a look now at your national temperatures: 18 degrees in Vancouver, some cold ones up north, 6 degrees in Whitehorse and 4 in Yellowknife. And as we start to go more central here, 16 degrees in Winnipeg, 12 down in Toronto, 7 in Quebec City, 12 in St. John's, and 10 in Halifax, -2 up in Iqaluit. Parts of northern Quebec and into Newfoundland and Labrador do have a chance of seeing some snow and some heavy winds overnight. As we take a look now at your school day forecast, things are going to start off quite chilly, 2 degrees at 8 a.m. before it will warm up to 12 by the time noon rolls around, and 9 degrees by the time kids are out of school, rather. Taking a look at some temperatures for the entire region tomorrow. 10 degrees also in Marwayne, Vermilion, Cold Lake, and Bonnyville. Everywhere else hovering around right around that 10-degree range there. Very similar story as we look in Saskatchewan here. 10 degrees in Maidstone, 12 in Macklin, 11 in North Battleford, and some 9s and 8s scattered around the north there. If we take a look now at your 7-day forecast, things are going to start to cool off as the weekend comes. 7 degrees on Sunday with a good chance we will see some rain all night there. Rain will continue from the Saturday into Sunday and possibly again on Tuesday, where we see a 60% chance there. That's all we have for weather for now. We'll be back after the break with more news.
I'm speaking with Tammy Lynn with the Little Bear Child and Youth Advocacy Center. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing very good. So October is Child Abuse Prevention Month throughout Canada. Has the pandemic affected plans for the center to raise awareness?
Well, yes, the pandemic has really impacted, all of Canada. When it comes to awareness and this campaign, we've kind of been lucky in ways. There's been some good things with the pandemic, as funny as that sounds, but at Lloydminster Sexual Assault Services and Little Bear, we've really upped our social media response. So we have a lot of things happening with our social media. If you go on to follow us on our page, Lloydminster Sexual Assault Services, you'll find that there's lots of information on there, not just promoting this campaign, but education, even an opportunity to have some fun and surveys and things like that. So if you want to check us out on there, that would be a great way to follow us.
And how many years has the Lloydminster Sexual Assault Center supported this month?
We last year, all the CACs in Alberta came together and started working on this campaign. And it was really an opportunity to unite our voices, to give children an opportunity for their voices to be heard.
And how many centers is the Little Bear Child and Youth Advocacy Center working with for this month?
We are presently working with 7 other centers in Alberta. And they're all in different stages. So we look at Lethbridge, who are in the initial stages of development, and then all the way to, Caribou Center up in Grand Prairie, who have been working in this field for quite some time. And we're grateful to be able to work with all of them.
Can you, in your own words, explain the importance of raising awareness for this month?
Sure. It's of vital importance to raise awareness about child abuse prevention, because in reality, a child or youth's life could depend upon this information. We need to educate ourselves on the signs, the dynamics of abuse, what to do if we notice abuse happening. These are all so important, and to believe children when they tell us something, or maybe if they are showing signs, believe it.
And what kinds of things or signs can people look out for when it comes to child abuse?
It's really important, I think, to say too on this subject that just because a child or a youth is showing a sign doesn't mean that abuse is happening. It's really important that we kind of recognize that. But if they are showing, maybe a change in their baseline behavior, if they're showing 1 or 2 or 3 signs, it may indicate that we need to investigate further. But it doesn't mean that it's necessarily happening. So some of the signs might be different behaviors than in the past. Maybe they're showing some aggression, Maybe they're not sleeping. Maybe they're clothing. Maybe they're not dressed the way they usually dress. Maybe they are really tired at school. So you're seeing a change. Maybe you're seeing sexual knowledge that is beyond their age development, their developmental age. So those could be some of the things you're seeing. Maybe you're seeing bruises. Yeah, things like that.
And for people that notice signs of child abuse, what advice would you give them to help?
Okay. Yeah, so if you are noticing a change, you're seeing more than one sign, my advice would be to contact your local RCMP detachment, contact your local child protection services. And at LSASC and Little Bear, we recognize that these can be tough calls to make, right? So you can phone our center too, and we will provide support to make that call. And we'll also provide kind of like an opportunity to talk with somebody after, kind of to go over your feelings about it, because it is big stuff, right?
And is there anything else you'd like residents to know about for October that the center is planning?
On October the 24th is Go Blue Alberta Day. You can wear a blue shirt and take a selfie, share it on your social media. So that would be one of the big pieces coming up. Also, we at LSASC and Little Bear recognize that these kind of topics are pretty hard to talk about, and they can kind of be heavy, right? We're sharing some information about the signs and things like that that are heavy. But one of the things that we really want to say is there's hope, right? Children are resilient. Adults are resilient. With help, things can get better. So we really want to send a message of hope and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And we thank the community of Lloydminster and thank you, Shelby, for providing this opportunity for us.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Tammy Lynn.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
On Primetime Local News today by Joe Chawanik. And Joe, thank you for taking the time to speak to us today. Really excited to talk about your new book.
Thanks for having me.
Well, and let's talk about the book, Abandoned Alberta. Really super interesting project. Like even the cover just draws you in when you see some of the photos. What was your reasoning to decide to go the route with the book?
I don't know, I just became fascinated with these old buildings as I was driving around the provinces, whether for pleasure or work, and I just started documenting them, and friends and family said I should maybe make a Facebook page and put up my work so other people can enjoy them, and one thing led to another.
Now, looking at some of the photos, Joe, really kind of eerie, almost some of them. It looks like in places families just got up and left. What was your feeling when you were going into some of these places? Is it kind of a little bit eerie in some of the cases?
Yeah, I'd say eerie. I'm always amazed at what I find left behind and can't figure it out. Yeah, there's something about it. People just seem to get up and disappear for whatever reason. Some for family reasons. Some the family doesn't want to, homestead anymore, and the land is just left, and it's how it is.
So are the photographs from pretty much all over the province, and is there any from around this area here, Lloydminster, Wainwright, Vermilion, even Cold Lake and Bonnyville? That's kind of our broadcast area. Is there any from this region?
I think I got to Vegreville area. I got down to right near the Saskatchewan border, south of Lloydminster, I believe. There's a grain elevator from down there that's in there, and south, it covers pretty much all of the province.
And did you just go and drive, Joe, and just look for these, or did some people give you information on where they were? Or how did you end up finding a lot of these?
Honestly, a lot of it was hard work, just lots of driving. I think I say in the intro of the book, probably 10,000 kilometers of driving. It's probably at least double that. I probably underestimated. And now with the size of my Facebook group, lots of people reach out to me with locations of places that I might want to photograph and check out. Owners contact me, and it just continues to grow.
So is this something where you're going to perhaps do a second book and do more photographs and maybe check out another province, or would you be sticking with Alberta?
I'll be staying with Alberta. I think the publisher, I know for sure they did Forgotten Saskatchewan last year with an individual from Saskatchewan. They have a project in Manitoba right now, and I'd love to do a second book. I'm pitching a second book to them. There's so much more of Alberta to explore and document history and share history with people, and I think the important part is sharing the history.
Can you tell me a little bit, Joe, just about the cover photo? Because really that picture kind of almost makes it look like, you know, any abandoned buildings that you see, a lot of them do look like that. Tell me about the cover photo and where that was, and is that building still standing today?
That photo is from the Camrose area. It was a house built in about 1915 from a family that came out from Nova Scotia, and that was their first home before they moved to somewhere else in the province. I photographed it multiple times, but the last time I photographed it was in March, and that was the cover shot of the book. We decided on that, and I have since been back to that house in the last few weeks, and it has since finally given into gravity. And if anyone sees the cover, they'll be amazed that it's even standing. So yeah, as a house, I believe they said 8 or 9 children lived in that tiny little house, like a lot of times back in the homesteading days. A lot of people in a small house with no heat and water, so it was a tough go.
Are you surprised, Joe, at the reaction you've had to the book and people who maybe didn't know history behind some of these photos and just, you know, the response you've had even just on your Facebook page and to the book itself? Did you think it was going to have that wide of an audience?
Honestly, no. I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm humbled by it all. I'm humbled by the media reaching out and the people reaching out that have just, I've heard nothing but good things about the book and the photographs. The stories people are telling me, the messages I get about how they loved it, how their parents loved it, how they're getting copies for their grandparents. I even dropped off a nursing home the other day. I dropped off a free copy to give to the long-term care patients. I thought they'd enjoy it. I happen to be in the area. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed by the whole thing.
Joe, if anybody wants to order the book, what is the best way to do that?
Amazon, Chapters. Check my Facebook page, Abandoned Alberta. It has a logo and the cover of the book on it, so that's the one to look for. Those are your best bets. I don't know if there's a Chapters in Lloydminster. Is there?
There's a bookstore in the mall, yeah.
Or Chapters or Coles. They should have it. They should have it there as well.
Okay.
And if not, we'll get it there.
Okay, well, Joe, thank you so much for speaking with us today. It's just an amazing book, and you know, I think a lot of people really do like to see history and take a look at some of these buildings, and it's something that you always notice when going for a drive anywhere. So congratulations on the success, and we're looking forward to book number 2 coming out.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Final look at your evening weather for this hour. Now, everywhere tomorrow will be hovering right around that 10-degree mark. It will feel a little colder, though, especially once those clouds start to roll in. Cloud coverage will come overnight and into Saturday. Saturday as well could see some rain at night and into Sunday. Before Sunday, we'll have all-day showers as we see 78% there. Tuesday is looking very similar as it will start to get colder there as well as we look at the lows.
Thank you for joining us for Primetime Local News. You can continue watching Primetime Local News on CITL. Have a great night.